What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the KFC Kingzilla Plus version, or their version of a metallic painted Snapdragon. So I did take a look at this figure, the original version, which is the unpainted version. This one is kind of painted in an off-white color plus a metallic purple here. It does look really nice, and I decided to get this one just because one of the issues I had with the original was the paint color. So I'm happy that they decided to go off and do this. And I will show you the original just so we can compare the colors and see the difference. But it really does look nice. So let's take a quick look at the figure up close. You get that nice metallic purple on the chest, the abdomen, the crotch here, the arms, hands, thighs and they do have a fleck in them, by the way. And then the feet here. Nice blue paint there on the knees. Here's the back. The face also has a little bit of metallic, but the white here is done kind of like a shiny white. And I think that looks a lot better than the original. And here is the original, and you could see it's got this, kind of swirly gray plastic for the arms and some of the back parts and the jet. And I just always thought that looked a little cheap. The purple's okay. It's just a purple plastic, but the thighs are painted in glossy purple, but it didn't match, right? Now it all matches, so I really like the changes they made to this guy. Let's go over his articulation. The head is on a rotation joint here. You don't get up and down out of that. Okay. Well, that sucks. The head just broke off inside the neck. All right, I went off to see if I could fix that neck. There's really nothing I can do. It's not only is it lodged in there, even if you glue it back, it's probably not going to work. So I already requested the part from the Chosen Prime. I'm sure they'll take care of it. But let's continue on with the review. I can't really tell if that was my fault. It broke from very, very little pressure there. But anyway, rotation here on a ratchet all the way around, out to the side on a ratchet, rotation at the bicep, rotation at the lower elbow. You have a double jointed elbow, gets you basically the full bend all the way up to there. You have a rotation at the wrist, individually articulated fingers at 1-2 pins, and then a ball joint at the base, and thumb is on a ball joint and a pin. Pretty nice hands. It is the typical KFC style, but it's a little bit tighter than some of their previous, so I don't mind these at all. Moving down to the waist, make sure you come to the back here, and I found another little QC thing is this panel is actually mismolded. It's supposed to be circle right there, and it's supposed to fit around this, but as soon as I opened this, it popped off. This one is actually on there nicely. It does kind of stay there, but if you open it all the way, it'll pop off. Again, not a huge issue, but a little QC thing there. But make sure those two panels are open, because that allows you to do the ab crunch there. So you get 2 clicks down of ab crunch out of this guy. Rotation at the waist on a ratchet. Nice joints there, by the way. Hip skirts allow you to move the leg up to there, back to there, out to the side. Rotation of the thigh on a ratchet, which is interesting. Most thigh rotations don't have ratchets. You have a double jointed knee, but due to the way it's sculpted, you can really only get 90 degrees out of it, just because it's kind of blocked by this. If you were to open that up, you could probably get it way past, but that's part of the transformation, so I'm not going to count that as articulation. Coming down to the feet here, you have tilt up to there. Your toe can tilt separately, but ratchet there. If you bring it down on this drop down piece here, you can get it further down, but you don't really need it. And then heel and toe can move independently. Accessories, you get basically the same stuff that you got before. You do get the 2 blasters, except now they're done in this metallic purple and silver. we can open up these handles here on the bottom, and that reveals the handle, and that will peg into the side of the hand, just like every other Masterpiece figure. And you have that, and you get two, of course, which is nice. We don't always get two guns with these Headmasters, so it's nice that they included two. You also get the blast effects here, which work in both the robot mode and the vehicle mode. So these can plug in right here on the chest, and you can have that effect if you want. I don't know. I'm not sure I'd ever display it like that, but you can do that. I don't think these will fit in the gun yet. They don't fit there. It will fit in the rocket boosters in the jet mode, but since we're in the robot mode, we don't need to show that. And for some size comparisons, there it is next to the Fans Toys Lupus, their version of Weird Wolf from the Headmasters, and of course the Magic Square Optimus Prime, because that's tradition on this channel. And you can see he fits in nicely with the Masterpiece scale, a little bit taller than the Magic Square Optimus, and taller than, of course, Lupus as well. So he is kind of a big bot, but he fits in nicely with Masterpiece. Alright, now let's get him transformed into his jet mode. And since we have a problem here, I'm just going to pull this off. You can still transform this. I'm just going to set that aside for now. Alright, so let's start with the backpack here. So come to here, we're going to fold out this nose cone, which is now fully painted. Unpeg the backpack from here. It's tabbed into the back there. This will come all the way down around those little pieces there. Bring this together. Here's the battery compartment where you can put the battery for the cockpit. I'm not going to do that right now, but these come together. Make sure you bring them together at the same time and then close them up. This is coming around. There's two tabs here. They're going to fit into the top. So get that tabbed in, and looks like this is going to block it. So I'm going to have to get that out of there. Oh no, it went down. Okay, so that went in. I'm not sure what happened to the Headmaster part there, but we'll see. All right, now let's take care of the legs, and there is a change here to this panel. I just want to point it out before we get there. You can see this one had little nubs. This one's got like kind of a puzzle piece, and that does sort of change how you have to do it just a bit. So I'll show you that, but go ahead and bring the arms out of the way. Come to the bottom, and yeah, this piece is gonna keep falling off. So let me just push these down and in. Let's rotate the waist 180 degrees so you end up this direction. Take the feet, fold them all the way up. They're not going to sit flush, they just want to get the toe sitting like that. Take the heel, fold that over on the top of the toe. Same on this side, get that same like that, and then get the heel on top. All right, come to the other side, we're going to open up this panel, and we're going to rotate here on the lower joint. So this gets all the way down, and make sure you're clearing everything here. And it should clear this hip skirt on the inside as well. And it should look like that. Open up this panel here and just leave that for now. Now we're going to do this other side, same thing. So rotate this all the way around and make sure everything clears. Make sure the hip skirt ends up on the inside like that. Then you take these two pieces and squeeze them together all along this edge. So that's attached. We're going to take these, make sure you fold this out, don't forget those. These are going to come down, and they're going to tab in right here into the top, and then into each other. So it should kind of secure there. These arms still like to come out, just like they did on the previous copy. They haven't changed anything there, so just letting you know. Close these up, and now we're ready for this piece. So this puzzle piece, it's interesting, because this has to fit over top of that little tab, but these puzzle pieces have to go underneath. So it's kind of a weird setup. You gotta insert this underneath here, but make sure it's over that. I don't really like it. I don't know why they did this. It was unnecessary. And then push that down, and you can see how those puzzle pieces kind of went in place. I can see people having trouble with that, or especially reversing this, potentially breaking it, because you got to get this out in the right order. You got to lift it up and out that direction. And it's not a perfect fit, I'll be honest. This tab right here is like not perfect. So you can see, like, just doesn't want to go perfectly in there, but we're going to leave that like that for now. Rotate the arms sideways. Lift up this little tab here. Allow you to swing that black armature down. And we're going to take this. Open up this foot here. Oh, this thing is constantly coming out. Yeah, it's definitely an irritation having this thing just in your way. Come to the bottom. Open up this panel here for the arm. Here we go. And we're going to take this, rotate it so that the fingers are flat, and open up the bottom side too. And make sure they're nice and flat. That's going to fold into there. And then close that back on top, close that on the bottom. And make sure it lines up. And then you're going to take this, so there's a slot here and a tab here, 2 slots here and 2 tabs here. So line those all up and get them tabbed in. So I like to start with the top one first. And then this one. Here we go. So give that a nice squeeze. This can just kind of sit back here. It's not going to really do anything. Straighten up that wing, straighten up that wing. All right, so we'll do the same thing on the other side. And last little detail, you can pull forward on these landing gear, and then they're very, very tight, so you just be careful, but they should snap into place. Hold on the thickest part if you can. Never really liked those landing gear, but there you go. And then for the headmaster, pretty simple. You can just open up the legs, unpeg them from each other, unpeg the arm from back here, and then just get his arms bent. It's very tight, and then the teeth are very sharp, so it can hurt you. I don't know why it's so tight, but maybe I recommend loosening that screw just to give yourself a little bit easier of a time. I don't know why they've made that screw so tight, but come to the back here, bring out his heel spurs, and that's basically him. All right, and there is Kingzilla transformed into his jet mode, and I really like how this looks. The paint on this now definitely makes it look better. I'm a big fan of the off-white here, the color. Oh, that finally snapped in. So there we go. Yeah, the purple, the metallic purple definitely helps. It looks better. I mean, everything about this looks better just because of the paint. You can't open the cockpit here. There's a little place to get your fingernail under there. This does light up. I'm not going to put the battery in there, but you can kind of fold up his legs. And I'm going to just tab them together, make it easier for myself. But this is going to fit underneath here, I believe. Yeah. Oh, and close up his heel spurs. And get this down in here. Get the arms down. And you can pretend like he's piloting. And that's pretty cool. I really like that. It does roll on his wheels. Now we can make use of the accessories here in the jet mode. So first off, we can take these guns, which actually make for very nice weapons. And they actually fit perfectly. They're kind of shaped to fit into these little notches here. And I really like how they look. I love when weapons store properly in the vehicle mode. But there you go. Fit on the wings. You can also bring in the stand here. There's a little square peg there that'll fit right here into the bottom of the chest. You can plug that in there. And he can be flying along like that. Then you can come to the back here and can use these blast effects. They'll just plug right here into the engines. And I just think that looks really good. Nice effect there, so you can have that look on the stand. And actually, this is something I would actually display. I just think it looks really cool like this. And for a quick size comparison, there is the KFC Kingzilla next to the MP52 Starscream. And you can see it's a pretty big jet. about the same width, but much longer. The nose is much longer and a little bit taller as well. Alright, now let's get him transformed into his Dino mode or Beast mode, whatever it is. And there's a couple of steps here that are a little tricky, especially this piece here, but let's get started. Go ahead and open up the cockpit, remove the pilot if he's in here, because you're going to need this for the head. And I forgot to mention, there is a little slot here at the bottom that's intended for the headmaster head that, you know, kind of pokes through there, but obviously mine is broken off in the neck, so you don't see it there, but that is intended to kind of fit that spot. Go ahead and fold here. The wheel will kind of fit into this groove. By the way, make sure your wheels are all collapsed on the bottom. But the wheel should fit in there, and then you can fold this one. You don't need to fold it all the way down, just like that. Right, come back to the top here. We're going to unpeg the arms from the side. I'm going to open up this peg here, rotate this all the way around, and then close that peg to lock it back in on the top position. And then these are going to become the feet of the Dino mode. And take this, rotate this up on that clip. Then you're going to rotate around on the ball joint. I wish this foot would sit flat on the floor with this, but it doesn't. It just doesn't work that way. So you kind of have to have it sitting up a little bit, and then you just angle the foot down. It's a very strange design. I'm not sure why they did it that way. All right, and then you're going to take the leg. So actually look at it from here, because this is the front. You bring this down, and you want this so that he can bend back, so like that. So make sure you hold in the middle and then rotate the toe forward. Right, so it ends up like this. And then you can rotate this back, and the wing is just going to stay straight back. So that's what one side should look like. Let's do the other one. I'll go a little faster this time. And you want it to balance on the tail. I noticed this sometimes likes to pop open, but you do want this kind of balanced so that the tail is sort of sitting on the floor. That's kind of the best position for him. But anyway, come to the top here, and we need to undo this. And this, again, this is challenging. So you're going to lift up and out this way while pushing down on these tabs. These tabs have to go inwards. They will not come up this way because of the way they're shaped. So you have to push down like this. I hate the way this works, but you have to work them over these two panels. And this is supposed to work its way over this, and we got it out. But I just don't like the way that works. It's supposed to come down and out. All right, open that up. You can use a spudger to split this apart. Open up this panel, open that up. And you're going to fold out these neck pieces here all the way to the front as far as they'll go. Tab everything back together. And then you can close this back up, tab it back in, close those back up, and make sure everything tabs back together. And unfortunately, we do have to put this back in. But yeah, those panels do have to stay closed. So this, you're going to put it up on an angle, slide it down under here. It's a pain, and then it goes in like that. That is the way you're supposed to do it, unfortunately. All right. So come to the front. You can get these arms out now. Fold those out. Fold the claws out. Same this side. I think it looks best if you fold that black part back and then fold this down. All right, now we'll take care of the head. Go ahead and take these arms. They're going to tab in to the side of the head. So make sure you straighten the arms. These teeth are very sharp, so just be careful with this. Get those tabbed in on the side. It's actually quite a tight fit just due to the paint. Then you have to take the feet, fold those up, and it'll kind of make it the front of his jaw. And close these heel spurs if you didn't have them closed already. And normally, this would fit into here using the piece that fits into the neck, and this would go right here. Unfortunately, that part broke off during the articulation segment of this, so we're going to grab the head from the original, just so we can demonstrate. But I will say, this new head looks way, way better. The paint makes all the difference in the world. The swirly gray plastic was really bad. The red paint and the white paint definitely improved the look of this. I'm very much prefer the new head. But since we can't put this one in, we'll put this one in. It is a tight fit, so this is just going to fit right into here. Just like it fit into the neck. Hopefully I don't break this one too. Yeah, and it's a very tight fit. And there is Kingzilla in his Dino mode. I do like the look of the paint, but this is definitely the weakest of the 3 modes overall. He has trouble kind of balancing. You kind of have to get it perfect. Right now he's balancing as I place him down, but he tends to either fall forward on his knees, which are kind of loose, or fall backwards, and it's tough to balance it. You can get it. This is the optimal position I've found, but as far as articulation, the neck goes up to there, down to there. Head can rotate on that joint. Just be careful not to break it like I did. The mouth can open. Now these feel a little bit loose, but you can't get his teeth together like that. And the eyes do look good, but like I mentioned, this head definitely, the new head looks way, way better than the original. Arms can go in and out on a ball joint, rotation joint at that ball joint, rotation here at this hinge, and then a double jointed elbow here, and then the wrist can move up and down, and then the claw itself can open and close. So that's some nice movement there. The leg can rotate on a ratchet. Like I mentioned though, the weak point here is the knee. I guess I haven't tried tightening these screws. That might help. But there is a double jointed knee here. It tends to fail right at that joint. The foot doesn't really do anything. It's just sitting, really it's sitting on this, and this is just for aesthetics, but it doesn't really do anything as far as stability or, posing. But you can make it look nice. It doesn't do anything stability wise. Tail, you can rotate this up a little bit more if you want to. Like I mentioned, this cockpit likes to pop open. And then you can fold this up and down. I think that's the optimal position because then it's resting on the ground. But no matter what you do, he is a little bit unstable. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime and the Fans Toys version of Grimlock. And it's pretty big Dino mode here, about the same height as Grimlock. Kind of towers over Optimus, so nice big Dino mode here. So final recommendations on the KFC Kingzilla Plus or Metallic version. And this is kind of a mixed bag for me because obviously I had some issues during this review. But I am going to give it a 4 out of 5. I'm going to recommend it, which I think people will kind of find shocking. And let me tell you why. One of my biggest issues with the original version was it was just too plain. One of my biggest gripes or pet peeves with figures is swirly gray plastic. I think swirly gray really makes figures look cheap and dull. And when you put this next to Fans Toys and the Make Toys and the other Headmasters we have, it just looks, it doesn't fit in, right? It just looks too dull. This guy fixes all that, right? The metallic purple, the off-white color, the fully painted figure, it really makes it look that much better. And just getting rid of the swirly gray plastic, especially on the head, is a huge improvement to that other figure. The design overall is pretty good. I like the robot mode. Obviously, I had some issues. The head here is on this joint, and it's very thin. And they have that so that you can pop it in here. It has a spring-loaded mechanism to do the stats for the Headmaster, like some of the other Headmasters we've gotten. And I would have rather they just got rid of that mechanism, right, and make it easy to put the head in and out so it doesn't have the chance of breaking. I don't need that gimmick. I'd rather that the head operate properly and it doesn't break. Same thing back here, this panel that broke on me, it was just mismolded out of package. That's just a QC kind of thing. It works, you can see it stays there. It works in all 3 modes, but, just another little annoyance thing. And then the same thing with the, the hips being, the ratchet teeth being a little too wide. That's something they could have fixed on this version, but they left it. But despite those things, I still really like this figure. I think it looks great in the jet mode. The guns, now that especially that they're metallic, they mount on the wings, along with the blast effects that go on the back. All that makes the jet mode on the stand look really cool. Robot mode also looks really good. The weak of the three modes obviously is the Dino mode. Doesn't look very good, especially if you don't have the painted head. It doesn't look good. But yeah, I mean, you're always expected to have one mode that's kind of weaker. And in this case, it's the Dino mode. But the other two modes, I think they look great. So despite the issues ahead, I still recommend it. It is one of the better figures from KFC. And now that it's painted, I think it's even better. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.